speak on behalf of those friends, group of friends.
How many times do you make a putt, take money out of your pocket, rub it in the, oh, Billy. Billy Guru. I'm sorry, this might be a little disjointed. I couldn't focus to the continuing disbelief, and then the multitude of memories would just come at me and all want to be told. And this is just one account, kind of two because of my brother and I, but our account of how one man touched so many lives. Last night I got a message from England, and there's lots of messages, and like all the others, the overlying sentiment it was funny, with a capital F-U-N-N-Y, and just of course fun, how much fun it was to be around him. It just meant fun and often adventure. I've been looking back, trying to remember when Freddy, Rietze showed up in our lives. I know it wasn't grade 1, likely wasn't grade 2, maybe around grade 3, I don't know. I don't even care to remember, so I just can't remember a time that he wasn't in our lives. That includes the thick, the thin, the good, the bad, the very strange, and every other conceivable time. It seemed that no matter what, we never gave up on each other, just as brothers do. As young boys, we competed in every sport, and even then, he hated to lose. Just as Dennis said, he didn't want to lose. Back in those days, it was mostly in baseball. And I remember spilling tears more than once as we would come up just one win short to get to those provincial finals that just meant so much to him. And a few times he got picked up by the winning teams to be added to their roster, but he'd come back and he'd say it just wasn't the same as if all of you guys would have been there. As the years went on, he became a bigger part of our lives, and it was during those years that the bond between Greg and our mum grew. In later years, I would come home only to be waved out of the house by her, as Greg would be there with something on his mind. Never minded sharing her with him, it only made us all closer. And that was a time in Greg's life when he was searching for his stride, and while he looked for his path, the wandering was wondrous. It became the show, and it was so great to be part of it. Some of my most precious memories being of walking in somewhere and hearing that boisterous call. Please forgive the impersonation. Bradley, or especially Beasley, and it would sometimes come from a tabletop because maybe there was a surfable song on and Greg was one of the original table surfers. It was around that time that he started to fill out and found that he had pretty quick hands, which served him well in his baseball career, but also in helping to stop that skinny little Greg. When people would try and push him around, they were in for quite a surprise when they encountered Sanchez, the person that he became. It was that persona that put more than one unsuspecting person on the canvas, and the guy who always had your back. During that time as well, an incident occurred which cemented my love and respect for him. It touches on the loyalty that Dennis spoke of, loyal to a fault. I'd been working away and came home from a tour of graveyard shifts. I was very tired, but that was no excuse for Greg. Get in the van. You ain't driving, have a beer. So after the combination of the tired and the beer hit me and I started to go down, nothing empties a crowded space faster than someone turning green. And so over I went. Seconds later, when I opened my eyes again, there was one face looking back at me with a combination of concern and laughter. And of course, it was Greg Rietze. It was during those years, too, that his ability to handle pressure never failed to impress me. He lived what Lee Trevino said about a $250,000 putt not being pressure packed because he missed it. He still got $150,000. Pressure was $20 putts for $10 in your pocket. And many times I saw Greg in that situation, and he would sink a pool shot, hit a bullseye, make a putt, or on the very, very rare occasion, tell the cops a fish story that kept us all out of trouble. After the three of us lost our mom, a lot of those times ended with, or included, Greg, Byron, and I sitting under the stars with music, listening to what the poets had to say about life and seeing how it fit. An indelible memory from that time is of Greg, always one hand on the wheel, hearing the first bars of Desperado by the Eagles, reaching over, cranking it, and in the original plaintive wail, letting go on those first lines. Desperado will always belong to Freddy. It was that young man that moved away to see what else was in the world and what he could be in it. I can remember him calling me and telling me about this girl he met at the ballpark. Rather fitting, I thought. He told me of the hoops she seemed to be making him jump through. Bradley, you know me. I'm not like this. What's wrong with me? He laughed. She must be different, this girl. Yeah, buddy, she is. And in time, he even anteed up. I think she'll be a great mom. I knew then that our Freddy was on his way to walking a more conventional path, or at least convention Freddy style. He always remained the king, especially of one-liners. He would come up with a fitting comment or statement about nearly any situation, and my friend, I continue to steal them to this day. If someone would tell him, even in his 40s, hey, you're looking good, he'd give him the straight-legged shot, ass of a 21-year-old. You had to be careful and stay on your toes, or you would pay for a long time for saying something stupid around him. Get the roll of the eyes and then the no, you didn't really say that. What, are you on glue? Chuckling would be next, and then the barrage of hilarious insults would start. But any sense of hurt would soon disappear because the quality of the humor would have you laughing at yourself right along with him and everyone else. And on that note, if you asked a question, you knew you were going to get a straight answer, so you better be prepared if you are going to ask a question. He was someone in whom pure joy existed, and the kid in him never left. And since he became a dad, the years have been filled with that joy and pride, and he has passed it on to his children as evident in their infectious smiles. He loved his kids, and he loved sharing their accomplishments as a family with us, whether it was excelling on the ball field as he did, to now, with them being exceptional students, and Kendall being a highly skilled curler, Jeremy on his way to becoming a scratch golfer. Always know that when you're in deep, whether it's in competition or in life, your dad's strength is going to be there with you to help pull it through. From all of us, we are so proud of how you kids helped your mom to do everything you could for him and for us. And Kimmy, that pride goes to you as well. And Greg knew when you would tell me, come on, buddy. We both know I worked a lot. She has a lot more to do with those kids being what they are. And he was right all those years ago when he said you would make an amazing mother. There's lots of stories left to tell, and I know from all the things I was getting on Facebook that he touched a lot of people, and there's a lot of joy and humor in that man being around him. But the one story that just will forever be with me was one that started with that mischievous grin pretty early in the morning. Let's wake up in the mountains. Seemed like a good idea. So we ended up in Banff before there was any rooms available. But the guy with the velvet touch got us a room. And there was the three of us, my brother, myself, Greg, and my brother's girlfriend. And as we were going into the room, the little lady was coming out of it, the cleaning lady with a tray and a can of whipped cream on it. Greg reaches over. We're going to need that. And then, after settling down for a little while, went out again the next morning. Greg woke up with that rustled hair as it was in those days. Puts on his shirt. Happened to be buttoned up wrong, but one sock. Off we go. Greg's going to have a smoke on the balcony. We get out on the balcony, he gives me a mischievous little wink. There's an old couple walking across the street. Hey! They stop, startled, look back at us. Where am I? Another mischievous grin back at me, and I drag off the cigarette that only he knew, some kind of style. But Greg, where you are is in the hearts and minds of all those that you met. Today you're in our minds, you will always be in our hearts, and you will forever be in our lives because you do not live a life as a bright, shining light of joy and disappear from view. You're a unique character who never bowed to public convention, and I'll always love, admire, and forever respect that. And thank you, my brother, for allowing me to have such a great seat for the show.